and start on that, I want to ask our Tommy Jones if you would come up and we're going to say the prayer, and for those that would like to, the Pledge of Allegiance. Tommy, could you come up? If everyone would, please stand.
Commissioners, I'd like to thank you for the job that y'all do and the invitation to come and be with you today. Let's go to our Heavenly Father in prayer. Father, we come to you at this time thanking you for the day that you have blessed to us and the beauty of it. We thank you for the opportunity we have to be here, and I ask that you bless this meeting, bless our commissioners, bless our law enforcement officers, and protect them today. God, I pray that you give these leaders wisdom as we try to be good stewards of the resources that you have given to us to enjoy. And God, may we keep them for further generations, that they may see the beauty of your creation. And God, today I pray for any that may be here that has family that is sick or hurting, and we just pray that you would touch them and that you bless them. And again, thank you for the beauty of this day. And I pray it all in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we get started, I want to acknowledge and call out some visitors here for just a second and recognize that you're here. Let me start off with the Batesville School District. Ronald, is that Mercy? Murky. And who are you, Ronald?
I'm a teacher at Batesville.
At teacher at Batesville. Steve Baxter?
Yes, sir.
Steve, glad to have y'all. And is it Ash?
Alicia.
Say that name?
Alicia Branscombe.
Elisa Branscombe. Okay, well, we're glad to have y'all. And Charles Barton, whereabouts is Charles? Chandler Barton? Chandler. Listen, I told Landon, right clearly, Landon, and he scribbled it down in about 2 minutes, and so I Chandler, it is Chandler. Sorry about that. And where's my friend Tommy? Tommy, stand up, Tommy. We're so glad to have you. Can you say a few words?
Well, I'm glad to be here. I remember when I was sitting there about 40 years ago. It's good to be here, and I'm really impressed by what the commission is doing. Draining my lake up there was just going to make it better. I came out here to support this young man whose father used to take me fishing when I was a kid. When I was 11 and 12 years old, Mr. Clifton told me to take me out in his boat, and we had a little lure called Gatorade. I don't know if y'all remember one, a little crankbait. You fishermen may know what it was. But we called it a bladed man because it would catch any bass in the lake. We don't find them like that anymore, but his dad took me out as a kid, took me fishing, took me rabbit hunting, and I had to come support his kid.
Tommy, we're very happy to have you here, and through my 7 years that I've been on the commission, I've seen Tommy at a lot of her meetings. He continues to support. I'm proud of you, and listen, we're hopefully going to make that Lake Conway a great lake for the next 50, 60 years.
I probably won't be around to see it, but
Well, you've enjoyed it for a lot of years, and so we're just getting it ready for these young people that's 20, 25 years old. They're going to enjoy it for the next 50 years. So we're anxious to get that completed. Catherine Andrews. Hi, Catherine. And Office of Outdoor Recreation, glad to have you here. Corey Dunn. Where's Corey at? Ducks Unlimited. Corey, glad to have you here. Is this Haley Robinson? Have I mispronounced? Haley?
Perfect.
Huh?
That's perfect.
All right. Haley and Aaron Robinson. Is that Trout Unlimited?
Yes.
Okay, glad to have y'all. Pierce Lawrence. Pierce, stand up. Where are you from, Pierce? Well, we're glad to have you here this morning. You hunt and fish and like the outdoors?
Yep,
Who are you here with this morning?
my dad.
Your dad. All right, well, we're glad to have y'all here this morning. Mary Beth, is that Hatch?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mary Beth, glad to have you. North Little Rock? Glad to have you. Dr. Greg Pulowski?
Yes, sir.
Glad to have you, North Little Rock School District. And Chris Brown? Chris, glad to have you. We've got someone here, Bobby Martin, and I want you to stand up and say a few words, Bobby. Bobby has been on the Game and Fish for his 7 years and did a great job and was our chairman last year, and just huge, continue like Tommy to support this. And Bobby, what have you been up to for the last 4, 5, 6 months?
I'm just enjoying the seat and acknowledging to myself, it's a lot cooler of a seat than those used to be. I'm like Tommy, everything about this place makes me, you may leave it, but it does not leave you. So I've been keeping up with you, watching, reading, everything else, and I just say a big congratulations, and kind of, keeping up the good work. I should have started off with the one word though, shouldn't I, Anne Marie?
Arkansas.
Arkansas.
Waiting on that.
I've been gone that long, y'all forgot. Arkansas. Supposed to be louder, all right. Stan, certainly didn't plan on saying anything, but listening and keeping up with the commission meetings, I'm so glad y'all still do that. And I know enough of the state really for me doesn't probably tune in, but I remember this, I was thinking about this in the last meeting. When we kicked off Natural State Tomorrow, I remember sitting there with a lot of you thinking then that we will really have to have the confidence of the public that we serve come alongside to see that really come to fruition. And I see personally, sitting out in the civilian ranks now, I see that happening. And clearly, commissioners, y'all know I felt this way. When the daylight closes between each of us individually, things come together. When the daylight between commissioners and the ag agency staff closes, meaning our confidence in everything we're doing grows, that spills over to the public. And when I start seeing social media posts, and of course they work both ways, and you guys know that the toughness of it will never go away. But I think that the confidence is growing, and the opportunity for Natural State Tomorrow. Gary Duggar, I don't know if you're working hard enough. Are you working hard? Is he working hard, Director? But those initiatives like the private land initiative and everything else, seeing it now come along in the confidence of the public, which I think now is echoing back. The way that the Dave Donaldson thing went out, I thought was fantastic. And it's not easy, and we won't ever please everybody, and it's not lost on any of you guys. I'll stop here and stand. It's not lost on any of you guys that we realize people that, like Tommy and I, we've only got a few more years on this planet. We'd like to enjoy all that right now, but the bigger calling is what you guys are after with the direction you set with Natural State Tomorrow. And again, I'm proud to watch the progress. And again, I keep up with you. I may be gone, but it's not gone inside of me. So anything I can be doing to help and support and cheer you on, I'll continue to do. But good being with you. Stan, you attract a lot bigger crowd than I used to too. I don't know what that's about. Yeah, but congratulations.
We got more problems.
All right, Arkansas.
Yeah, Arkansas. Bobby, we're glad to have you and for all the work that you've done. All right, did I miss anybody that I didn't acknowledge? Is who? Oh, yeah. Jan Zimmerman, my girlfriend, is here, and Nikki is here. Sherry's not here, is she, Bill?
No.
Nikki's my girlfriend.
Yep. Did I miss anybody else? All right, well, we're happy to have every one of y'all. And Bobby, I would just tell you that, we've talked about it before. It's kind of like we're in a canoe and we're paddling, and it takes a lot of people to paddle it and keep it straight. But we've got Brad, Chris, and Ben, and a lot of good people that's helping us keep this canoe, there may be a little bit to the right or a little bit to the left, but that's team, between the wildlife officers and the biologists, and, we're having to devote a lot of time to keep Garrick Duggar straight. That's, we're having to keep him in line, but we're going to get it all together here pretty soon. But we're trying to do the very best we can with everything we do. So we're going to make it happen. Hey, let's get into the meeting, and I need approval of agenda. Our first matter is today's agenda. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda presented?
I'll move approval of the agenda.
Okay. Is there a second? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, we need to, the approval of the commission meeting notes from January 18 of '24. Are there any additions or deletions to the notes?
Move to approve.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, first up, we'll hear the Arkansas Game and Fish Foundation President Deke Whitbeck. You have the floor, and this is a lifetime license for the Game and Fish Commission Employee Membership Drive.
That's right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, everyone. We've got a lot going on at the foundation as we get the year started. Got some new corporate partnerships we're going to announce very soon. We have a new staff member we're bringing on that we'll announce very soon. And with Tyler and Pierce working the events across the state, we're going to be in every corner this year bringing programs and events. So, but today's really a lot of fun because we're going to draw the winner of a lifetime hunting and fishing license for a person under 16 and under. This is made possible by the Landers Family Foundation in memory of Scott Landers, and this is an AGFC employee drive, and so it's a lot of fun. There's a discounted membership to it, and we're very grateful for all that who have contributed, and very grateful for all that you do. So. Pierce is going to help me draw the lucky winner of the lifetime hunting and fishing license. And it reads, Pat Salisbury, up in our licensing. So congratulations, Pat. And yeah, thank you, Pierce. Thank you all for giving me just a moment and for all of your continued support.
Thank you, Deke. That's a great thing, lifetime license. Now time for the awards. Education Assistant Chief J.J. Gladden, you have the floor. J.J., you're dressed up. You look great.
Well, I'm trying to live to that movie star status that I got last commission meeting.
There you go. There you
Good
go.
morning, Chairman, Director, Commissioners. This meeting is a very special and exciting meeting because we're honoring the people for their service to the mission of conservation. This is not only to those with impressive years of service to the agency, but also our dedicated partners in the field. Now, I would be remiss if I did not mention that Freddie Pinka, who we heard from and honored at the May Commission meeting in Mountain Home, was recently honored with the Outdoor Ventures Educator of the Year by the Outdoor Tomorrow Foundation. So we're being recognized at a national level for the educators here in this state who are making an impact in our schools. But this morning, we're excited to announce the AGFC Education Partner Awards. These awards are designed to recognize our education partners' credible conservation efforts and projects around the state. We have 3 awards. We have the Conservation Educator of the Year, we have the Conservation Education District of the Year, and we have the Education Project or Event of the Year. Now, these are not just for brick and mortar K-12 establishments. This is for non-government organizations. This is for other state agencies. This is for anybody that stands beside us and extends our reach to the good citizens of Arkansas and our youth. So, we judged on 4 base criteria: connection to conservation impact and environmental relevance, being a model for other educators in the state, community support and sustained engagement, and sharing their passion with students and peers. Okay, y'all don't need to hear more from me. We're going to give them an opportunity after we present the award to tell you about the impact that they're seeing and what they are doing in their community and in their schools. So, first up, the Conservation Educator of the Year. Haley Robinson is a dedicated advocate for fisheries and outdoor activities in Northwest Arkansas. Her contributions to education and conservation are truly commendable. She is a teacher at Lincoln High School, a member of the Northwest Arkansas Fish Habitat Alliance, and president of Trout Unlimited 514 in Northwest Arkansas. Her passion, leadership, and commitment foster a love for the outdoors. Partners like her are not only creating new generations of hunters and anglers, but also future educators and biologists to work alongside and further the work of those in conservation, education, and management. With great honor and enthusiasm, we award Haley Robinson Conservation Educator of the Year.
I love being first. First to give a speech, I mean. Well, I've been teaching 10 years in public education. My mother is Dr. Mary Ann Spears, which some of you may know. She was superintendent of the year. So my great-grandmother was a chemistry teacher. My grandmother was a special education teacher. I've been in kind of, I don't know, built for this, I guess. But this didn't come a normal, I'm bad at this, I'm sorry. This didn't come, I can talk to teenagers all day. I got into Trout Unlimited 5 years ago. I was going through something in my life, and I ran into this guy, Brian Kick, and I'm sure a few of you know Brian Kick, Rob, and he talked me into taking on trout in the classroom. So I started just with a trout tank in my classroom, and today I run Trout in the Classroom for Northwest Arkansas, and we have 7 schools, and we have 8 on a waiting list. So we're trying to raise funds for that. To continue that program. I also recently joined as president last year for Trout Unlimited. I just kind of kept with it. And last year we started our first trout camp. So my goal is to make public education and conservation education specifically free to kids. Public education is deep in my blood, and it's incredibly important to me to make sure that kids have the opportunity and they don't have to pay for it. 2 years ago, my husband, who's also with Trout Unlimited, went with me to the national meeting in Maine for Trout Unlimited, and we saw a trout camp there. So I didn't come up with the idea. But they charge, and that just sort of bothered me. So I figured out a way to make it free. And JJ assisted me with that. We do outdoor events with them. We do all sorts of events with Beaver Watershed Alliance, Illinois Watershed Alliance. Jordan Bevel has been huge, coming to not just my classes, but also to my trout camp. We teach kids how to fly fish. They get a free fly rod. It's just been an incredible experience. And this is the second year we're offering trout camp to 12 kids completely free, 5 days overnight at Riverview Resort. Got to mention them because they're helping cover that cost. And we're also offering 2 scholarships to students that are going into the conservation field. They write us a little essay, tell us what they want to do that involves conservation, and we give them a scholarship. So Trout Unlimited's been incredible. The partnerships there, we have our annual banquets in 2 weeks, March 1st, if anybody wants to come. And we raise enough funds there usually to cover trout camp for everybody. It's absolutely amazing to see people come together for our kids. I also recently started getting involved with the Fish Habitat Alliance. I'm the educational partner for them, and we did a video, if you've seen it, it's very cool, where we built these fish habitats, mossback fish habitats, in my classroom, and we're going to take them and put them in Lincoln Lake. So the idea is to connect kids to their hometown, to their home lakes, wherever that might be. Not all towns have a lake, but Lincoln Lake is pretty incredible. It's in Northwest Arkansas. We rock climb there as well. That's part of my outdoor ed curriculum. So we're getting kids outside, and we're doing stuff and that they're going to remember forever. They're not going to remember what they did in geometry class. Probably not going to remember what they did in my biology class, but they're going to remember rock climbing with Miss Robinson, if not for the reason that I usually fall. So they're going to remember the 8-mile canoe float down the Elk River. And a lot of this is made possible through Arkansas Game and Fish. Every year I apply for a grant to help pay for some of this stuff because my school is 75% free reduced lunch. I have a student on my fishing team that is homeless. I have a student that can't afford anything, and I found a way to pay for absolutely all of his gear. I drive him to every single tournament, even if we have to leave at 2 a.m. and he sleeps next to me as I drive. My husband's been a huge help with that, even though some days he doesn't really want to get up at 2 a.m. and drive to Lake Ouachita for a tournament. But we're making a difference, and Arkansas Game and Fish has been huge with that. So I appreciate everybody in this room and everything that you've allowed me and other teachers like me to continue to do for our students. So thank you.
Watch out, Austin.
Thank you, Haley. I would like to mention something that we had left out of that. So we have the Vamos a Pescar grant through Recreational Boating and Fishing Foundation, and Haley has been instrumental in that, and they are going to be our partner in that effort. So we did receive the grant. We got notification at the first of the month. So we have a grant from RBFF for about $10,000 to do minority outreach, and we're going to be focusing in Northwest Arkansas because that's where the TU chapter is. So we'll be doing some events and some pushes to the minority outreach in Northwest Arkansas through that. So thank you very much, Haley. Okay, the Conservation Education District of the Year. The Batesville School District stands out as one of the few districts fully engaged in all AGFC school-based programs. The commitment and dedication from teachers and coaches has been instrumental in implementing archery in the schools, youth shooting sports, Project Wild, outdoor adventures, fishing in the natural state, hunter ed, and boater ed. A few of these teachers are here with us today. The district utilizes these programs as powerful tools to enrich the education of its students. Recognizing the value of teaching the next generation about conservation, Batesville School District provides a pathway for those who may not otherwise have the opportunity to explore these activities. We are happy to honor Dr. Michael Hester, Superintendent of Batesville School District, Conservation Education District of the Year.
Just try to get as tight as you can.
That's all.
Y'all hold that.
Yeah, there we go.
I'll get over here, this will work. Okay, go right here.
Looks good.
All right. Got it.
Well, I want to say, first of all, thank you to, these are the rock stars right here that are with us. They do all the things with our kids, and so we couldn't do it without them. Batesville is what I call the Colorado Springs of Arkansas. I mean, the beautiful White River, one of the cleanest and clearest rivers that you could ever want to fish or boat on, and and swim and the recreation, the caves, the bike trails, the outdoor living with our archery and the things that go on in our education. Teachers and partners, they jump in there with all kinds of programs, whether it's through the bike trails, through the archery, through all the things that you can do to enjoy the outside living. And first of all, just as a privilege to be in Arkansas and to be at Batesville, to have all these beautiful things at our disposal. And I know the Batesville culture is to get our kids out, get our people out and enjoy the beautiful nature around us. And so I want to thank these guys, their dedication with all the programs, they pull it together, is just wonderful. So thank you so much for this honor, and we will take it back proudly and display it and continue with even more outdoor programs.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Y'all want to go kayaking? Come out.
We'd love to.
If y'all want to go kayaking, come out.
Will do.
All right. Thank you, Batesville. Our last award for the morning from education is the Education Project of the Year. Dr. Greg Paluski, did I get it right? Yes. Practicing all morning on that. And Miss Mary Beth Hatch, their vision for creating an engaging learning environment that bridges classroom knowledge with real-world conservation applications district-wide was a monumental project. The initial phases of the project involved intensive professional development for teachers led by AGFC educators, empowering them with the necessary tools and skills to independently teach these concepts. Their leadership has not only created a positive impact in the North Little Rock School District, but also serves as a beacon for similar districts, demonstrating the profound benefits of conservation education in classroom, regardless of location. With great pride and honor, we award North Little Rock School District Education Project of the Year.
Oh, no, that's a little too much. There we go. Awesome, right there. Okay. Look right here. Yeah. Okay, we're good. Awesome.
Chairman, Commissioner, ladies and gentlemen, it is certainly our honor to represent the North Little Rock School District on behalf of our Board of Education. Joining me today is Mary Beth Hatch. She is our coordinator of school innovation, and also Chris Brown, who is a senior, and I'm going to give them an opportunity to speak, and more importantly, to listen to Chris about the impact that this has had on him personally in promoting the importance of environmental literacy and outdoor education in the state of Arkansas. North Little Rock, as you know, we're an urban school district. We serve about 8,000 students, pre-K through 12, 15 campuses, and many of our students that we serve have never left their neighborhood. They've never left their zip code. And we live in what I believe is the best classroom that we can have is the entire natural state. And our vision in the North Little Rock School District is to ensure that every child from pre-K through 12 has an environmental literacy and outdoor education experience. Whether that's through speakers, whether that's through projects, or we're also working on an overnight experience for a 3-day culminating 5th grade outdoor experience. And the partnership, and I want to thank JJ and I want to thank Bo, they deserve a huge round of applause. When we started to talk about this, they jumped on board with us immediately and said, let's take off and do this. And I think it just shows what's possible in any school district in our state, and let alone an urban school district. So we're grateful for this partnership. We're trying to be a leader in this and show others what this can look like, but more importantly, the impact that it's going to have on a child. And I'll let Mary Beth just say a couple words, and we really want you to listen to Chris.
Good morning, and thank you, Dr. Paluski. Thank you, Director and Commissioners, for having us. As Dr. Paluski mentioned, JJ and Bo have been paramount in what we've been trying to do in the North Little Rock School District. When I was in 4th grade, my 4th grade teacher was introducing the concept of life cycles. And she put a picture on the overhead projector at the time and asked us what it was. And I said, those are frog eggs. And she said, how do you know that? And I said, because I've held them in my hand. I was privileged enough to grow up in North Central Arkansas, Mr. Finley, not too far from you. And I had the opportunity to play in the pond that was on my land, go to the creek, play in the caves, and do things like that, and have that experience. And when I had children, I knew I wanted them to have the same kind of experiences that I had. Now I have hundreds of children after 18 years in education that I want to have those same experiences as well. And so that didn't stop when I came to the North Little Rock School District. Dr. Paluski laid out a vision for what outdoor education and environmental learning could have for the students that we serve. As I say, a lot of times when I speak, I like to work with people that say yes. And the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission has said yes time and time again to some of our requests and to some of the projects and to some of the even larger plans that we've built. The district will be announcing something later this evening at the school board meeting that is the first of its kind in the state and relates very directly to the mission of the Game and Fish. I know that, priority 4 in your strategic vision is outreach, and I can't think of a better way to reach the students in the state of Arkansas than the programs that you currently provide. And so I want to give Chris Brown, and I don't think it's many days that you actually get to see the students that are on some of your publications in person, but he is here. Kaja Owens is the other young lady in this photo. She couldn't make it this morning. She's actually at her job. And so Chris is going to speak to you just a second about the impact that you have had. And once again, we just thank you for this opportunity.
There's a lot of people here today. I've played in mud my entire life, and I've always loved nature. It's just, now they kind of put me in a magazine for it. It's just really relieving to know that we actually have a system to where we help our nature and we help ourselves in the future, because as we can see, it's starting to go away a little more and more every day. So it's nice to know that we can still take care of it. The Stream Team has done a lot for me and for other students. We've learned how to identify the toxicity of streams and little ponds, and we've found little creatures, little penny fish. It's really, really nice. I'm glad that we have this program, and I would like to be in this program for as long as I possibly can. It is very, very relieving. Thank you for this TED Talk.
Thank you so much for this honor. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Personal friend of mine. He's a great guy. Yes, sir. Thank you. We also have a mutual friend, Bobby Gosser. I heard a lot about you. Yes, sir. Great to meet you. Thank you for your time.
Well, all 3 of you.
Awesome.
My pleasure, pleasure, and the honor. Work today. Thank you.
Thank you, North Little Rock. And can I get one more round of applause for all of our award winners, the staff that stands beside them, and this is just a glimpse at what we do across the state, partnering with school districts and NGOs that can help us spread that impact. So thank you all.
JJ, I'd just like to congratulate you on this, and gosh, the people from Batesville, great job. People from North Little Rock and Mary Beth and Chris, I tell you, y'all, that's pretty awesome. And Dr. Greg, I tell you, Haley Robinson, we just need more people like you. We need there's people in Batesville like you, and there's people in North Little Rock like you, but our whole United States needs more people like you to take interest in these young kids, to show them, to be willing to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning and go do that. We all need to do a little more, and you're an inspiration to what we're trying to do. Thank you. Okay, let's move on. Luke Naylor is giving me some hand signals back there that he's primed and ready. And so, Luke, you have the floor to present Partner Appreciation Awards.
Yeah, this will be tough to follow all that. I'll try, maybe. Lots of good stuff. So this is an award from a partner to a Game and Fish employee. So I mentioned it briefly yesterday in the regs conversation. We work cooperatively throughout North America on a bunch of different, through the migratory bird management system, if you will, through the Flyway and other groups. But we operate within things called joint ventures, which were established out of the 1986 North American Waterfowl Management Plan. And one of the first species-based joint ventures was the Arctic Goose joint venture. So all the Arctic geese that come to Arkansas, snow geese, white-fronted geese, a few cackling geese, Ross's geese, they're all managed collectively by this group called the Arctic Goose Joint Venture, which is a really cool group of people to be involved with all across the U.S. and Canada. And we support a lot of research and monitoring projects that provide the information necessary to manage those resources for the long term. So the Mississippi Flyway Council has 2 seats on that, on the technical side and on the board side. And Brad Corner served as the board member for the Arctic Goose Joint Venture for most of his time as Wildlife Division Chief, I think, maybe all of it, 9 years. So I was a technical section representative. Now I'm the board rep for the Arctic Goose Joint Venture, as Brad has moved up to deputy director. So he was not able to attend one of our last Arctic Goose Joint Venture meetings. So they sent the award to me to give here on behalf of the Arctic Goose Joint Venture to Brad. So I may have Michelle help me out here a little bit. So this group has really cool meetings and gives really cool awards. So I hope people continue to approve my travel to go to these meetings. So what's neat about this, we work in the Arctic, right? So all these geese go up, and they're up amongst First Nations peoples with a lot of traditional use of this resource. So this is my good friend Jim Leaflore, who works for the Canadian Wildlife Service, Environment and Climate Change Canada now. He sent this. He said, this is a traditional tamarack goose decoy, similar to those that were used by some Cree hunters historically. Jim actually worked in Ontario, Northern Ontario in the late 1990s and encountered a few of these decoys being used. I'm going to pretend I'm just going to not try to pretend I'm still young and can read that. Yeah. So they've mostly been replaced by modern decoys, but this decoy for Brad was made by a Cree hunter named Victor Diamond from Waskaganish, Quebec, on the southeast shore of James Bay. So the open head of the decoy looks like a white cheek patch in spring. Think about snow-covered Arctic tundra in the spring. So a goose flying over and looking, so that's going to be white, right? So looks like a cheek patch in spring when most Canada goose hunting by Cree hunters occur along James Bay. So the geese, he says, usually the ground is mostly snow-covered during spring migration, allowing for ease of travel by snowmobile. And geese tend to congregate in open patches and wherever water pulls up as the spring melt progresses. So this is a long-term traditional use for the folks up there on spring migration. This is a major part of their food supply throughout the year. And they use decoys like this to secure that food supply. So pretty cool. Made by someone a long ways away from here. So pretty neat. Yeah, oh yeah. And thank you from the Arctic Goose Joint Venture for all your service. Yeah. Where do you want me to be? Michael just yell at us. We know that.
I'm up for that. Okay, right here. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, this is completely unexpected. I will just quickly say Arctic Goose Joint Venture, the folks, Luke, Buck Jackson worked tirelessly on white-fronted goose surveys, and but I will say, and we had the opportunity to go all over North America for meetings to some really cool places, talk about geese and goose management. But the thing that stands out most in my 9 years on that management board is we hosted a winter meeting here in Arkansas. It rotated among the 4 flyways, and we took them to Hollowell Reservoir at Baimita and stood there one evening watching waterfowl pour into Hollowell Reservoir. And people across the U.S. and Canada who had spent their careers managing waterfowl were in awe and talked about what a special spectacle and what a special place that was. And it's something that we take for granted here and just assume that that's common. So that's the memory that I will cherish most from my 9 years on the Arctic Goose Joint Venture. So don't take for granted what we have here. So thank you.
Thank you, Luke. And now Director Booth will present the Game and Fish Years of Service Awards.
So if y'all heard me do this before, y'all have heard me say that this is one of the favorite parts of my job. And it's like y'all got together and said, let's see if he really means that. Because we have 17 employees getting career service awards today that represent 7 divisions throughout the agency and over 365 years of service to the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission. All right, so we got a lot of folks recognized this morning, and all of it's 100% worthy of recognition, but we're going to change things up a little bit this morning just to respect everybody's time. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the 15-year recipients first, and as I call your name and say a little bit about you, I'd like for all the 15-year recipients to line up right over here by Captain Joe Williams. All right. First off, fresh out the gate, we got Jeannie Zaffarano. Jeannie works in our communications division, and she's worked there for 15 years as a graphic artist, and she makes us look better than we deserve with lots of our signage, lots of our pamphlets, and lots of our literature throughout Arkansas. She might not be able to grant you 3 wishes, but she can come pretty dang close. So Jeannie, come on down. I'm going to keep on rolling. Buck. Buck is someone that we all know well. He's celebrating 15 years with us this month. He began his career in January of 2009 as the Wetlands Program Coordinator, and that's where he is today. He would rather be in a tractor right now making duck food or working our GTR design plans, but he received in 2014 the George H. Dunklin Jr. Arkansas Waterfowl and Wetland Management Award, and then in 2016 Wildlife Management Division's Biologist of the Year. Next, we have Lieutenant Philip Livingston from Enforcement, and he spent all 15 years with us in the C3 district. We're certainly grateful for him working his way up through the ranks, and he is a critical firearms instructor for us and a pioneering member of the UAV drone program. We have Corporal John Partain, also from Enforcement, and he comes to us through the A4 district. He served on the Honor Guard and the Disaster Response Team until he was promoted to Sergeant in 2016. And rounding out the 15-year category, we have Captain Joe Williams, who spent most of his career with us so far in Ashley County, where he rose the level of sergeant, and then he made the move to Mountain Home. And I know Rob is very happy to have him up there as a captain. We certainly admire Joe's walk with the Lord and constant positivity. In his free time, he practices Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. All right, so these 15-year award recipients, why don't we give them a big round of applause, and we'll take some pictures.
That's yours.
Time flies when you're having fun.
All right, well, we're going to get a running start here at the 20-year recipients. This is the 20-year category, and if y'all will do the same thing, when I call your name, just make your way down here to the side. First off is Kelly Mulvihill. Kelly leads our Springdale Nature Center. We're very grateful for her representation for us in Northwest Arkansas, and she's been with the agency since 2003 when she began planning the construction of the Janet Huckabee Nature Center in Fort Smith. Next, we have Kevin Dunn from IT. Kevin's been with our IT division for 20 years now and has done everything but help with the help desk, our telecommunications, our network, our system support. The thing that's most important to know about Kevin is the high regard that people in this agency have for him and the level of trust and respect that they have in him, because they know where to turn to get help when they need it. Next, we have Corporal Brett Ditto, who it was a joy to see in Northeast Arkansas this weekend as we conducted 2 public meetings in Northeast Arkansas. He's been with the Enforcement Division for 20 years, and he's been assigned to Monroe, Greene, and Randolph counties. Next, we have Corporal Ryan Nast, who's been with the Enforcement Division also for 20 years. He has spent his 20 years assigned to Independence County, and he has been very active in the Enforcement Division CPR and first aid programs. He's been awarded the Arkansas Game and Fish Wildlife Officer of the Year Award, Arkansas NWTF Officer of the Year Award, and also a recipient of the Campbell Award. We also have Corporal Ronnie White from Enforcement. He's assigned to Pike County in A4, and he currently serves as a driving instructor for the agency and serves on the child abduction response team. He has been named the Attorney General Officer of the Year for Pike County numerous times, and also Acres for Wildlife Officer of the Year. And last, in the 20-year category, we have Kim Cartwright, who's celebrating 2 decades working in the communications division here in Little Rock. She's the wonderful voice behind the Ask AGFC email account, where she provides information and support to all Arkansans that need it, but oftentimes some of the more challenging ones. So we're super grateful for her tireless work. Give our 20-year recipients a round of applause. All right, next is our 25-year category. All right, leading us off for the 25-year category is Sergeant Ron Davidson. Ron has been with the Enforcement Division for 25 years. He's covered Lafayette, Jackson, and Cleburne County, and he's currently assigned in Jackson County. Next, we're going to honor Kimberly Boyles. She's been with us as a licensing clerk since 1999. Her job duties have varied from verifying the handwritten licenses that were sold then by licensing dealers to where they are now. With our first computerized license system, she transitioned over to customer service and license sales, where she has not survived but thrived through the transition to 5 different licensing systems in her career. She was promoted to accounting in 2005, and after a brief 5 years in accounting, she was promoted back to licensing as a licensing supervisor. She's always professional, dependable, courteous, and always helpful. These are the two recipients of our 25-year award category. Y'all give them a round of applause. All right, our 30-year recipient today is Mike Walker. For over 30 years, Mike Walker has successfully led countless new construction and maintenance projects throughout the state. He began his employment with the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission in 1994, working with the commission construction crew. His time on this crew permitted him to develop projects on almost every body of water, hatchery, and wildlife management area in Arkansas. In '98, he moved to wildlife management, where he performed songbird surveys, deer surveys, and handled nuisance animals around central Arkansas. In '99, following passage of the conservation sales tax, we began a new capital construction contracting program, which moved the agency to the current construction and maintenance contracting model. He was selected to be the first RMCC, where he has now served in this capacity for 24 years with the Operations Division. Mike is known by many around the agency to be a servant first, oftentimes by picking up a shovel or putting on his tool bag to help projects outside of his region. Most importantly, he is known as a friend to many here at the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission. Let's honor Mike for 30 years. Normally, I would offer the most senior person in our awards groups the opportunity to speak, and normally that's 30 years, but it's going to take more than 30 to get that. And because we're about to recognize somebody that's been with us for 35 years, almost as long as I've been alive, I am going to offer this fine gentleman the opportunity to speak to the crowd this morning. Clint Catfish Coleman boasts a remarkable 35-year tenure spanning the fisheries and education divisions. His journey began as a technician at the Andrew Halsey Hatchery before transitioning to the newly established urban fishing program in 2005. As an advocate for inclusivity, Mr. Coleman proposed the program's rebranding to the Family and Community Fishing Program. His extensive experience is reflected in the accolades that he has garnered over the years, including our very own Campbell Award in 2017, SEAFWA's 2017 Diversity and Inclusion Award, and American Fisheries 2019 Education and Outreach Award. Clint's pivotal role has elevated the Family and Community Fishing Program to one of our top angling programs. He has served as chair of Minorities and Natural Resource Conservation at SEAFWA and has been instrumental in establishing partnerships, notably with The Big Catch, which is also one of our largest community fishing outreach events. He has impacted countless youth and families in his 35-year tenure through his passion for both fishing and people. And anybody that's ever been around Clint knows that you can't help but feel better about the world every time that you're around him. Big round of applause for Clint.
It is truly an honor to be here today. When I first started, I never thought I would be in here this long. And it's been great. You know, we go through different issues, we go through changes, we go through drama. But I gotta honestly say, Game and Fish has been really, really good to me. I've met a lot of great friends. I've made a lot of great partners. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention my dad, who was a hunter and fisherman. And I was blessed that he met Tommy. And Tommy was more than just a friend of the family, he was a brother. And to have the opportunity when he was still on board with the commission opportunity to come to work for Game and Fish. I never would have thought it. Never thought. In 1989, I was not thinking about Game and Fish. But he gave me a shot. He spoke up for me because I ran into some situations where, oh, we give you a job in Corning. I'm not going to Corning. Y'all already know. But he got me on in Hot Springs, and I did 18 years at the hatchery, not knowing that was going to prepare me to do what I do now. And I've had the opportunity to work with great supervisors, Don Brader, Steve Lewis, Clifton Jackson, Chris Racy. He and I came on at the same time. And I learned so much from Chris. And he was always there to say, hey, man, whatever you need to know, I got you. And then Ben Batten. You know, that's 2 tag team guys backing me up. And then Maurice Jackson and Chris Nault. I almost forgot about Chris Nault. To have that kind of support to teach you and guide you through, to glean your best, the best part of you, they let me do it. I can't say thank you enough, guys. To the commission, to the family, and that's where we are. We get away from that sometime. We're not a state agency. We're a family. We're different than other people. And because of that family love is why I was able to stay here 35 years. And to let you guys off the hook, I was talking with Tommy. He said, do 2 more years. So I'm going to do 2 more. And we'll see how it goes from there. But thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Our last category is a 40-year recipient. Karen Rao began her career with the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission in 1983. She served as the agency's first non-game wildlife biologist in the 2-person endangered non-game and urban wildlife section. For several years, she was the agency's only endangered and non-game biologist and oversaw the use of federal endangered species funds on bats, birds, cavefish, and mussel research. In the 1990s, responsibility for non-game was transferred to the appropriate divisions, and Karen was moved to the Wildlife Management Division, where she continues to serve as the non-game bird program coordinator. Karen, like all agency employees in the 1990s, was extremely active in campaigning to pass Amendment 75, and she remembers that time well. She is currently directing a wildlife management area marsh bird monitoring project that focuses on king rails. This was established the division's non-game bird team to collect locations on eagle nests and wading bird rookeries on our lands, and has also assisted grad students with the trapping and banding of king rails under the close supervision of resident alligators and cottonmouths. She directs the Commission's falconry program and is often referred to the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission Bird Lady. She fields countless calls from the public on bird ID and natural history, and she continues to crawl on her hands and knees on steep levees in order to creep up on and catch injured bald eagles. Big round of applause for Karen Rao. The floor is yours.
Oh, no. I would much rather crawl on my hands and knees again. The briars were higher, so if I stayed on my hands and knees, I didn't get cut up quite so bad, than have to speak to such a wonderful group of people. I'm at a loss for words. I don't do this, but it's an allergy, honest, it's an allergy. I just went to work every day, and there was so much to do, and it was so exciting, and I was doing with people who cared just as much as I did. And I just kept doing that. And there were birds and people that needed assistance. There was research that we needed to do in order to reverse declines in species. And I was doing it with partners of our agency, as well as field people who thought they usually drove a tractor, but instead were learning to identify birds. And I just want to thank everyone here for the honor of being able to be the non-game bird person for the past 40 years and 6 months. And I want to ask for the opportunity to continue to work with all of our wonderful field people, fisheries biologists, wildlife technicians, and our partners in order to continue to work on keeping common birds common and reversing declines in species that are in trouble. I can't help but keep doing that. And I also just want to let you know that somewhere out there in Arkansas, I got this on good authority from a person who called me. There is a pair of ivory-billed woodpeckers that have pastel-colored babies. Some are lime green, some are hot pink, and some are baby blue. So let me know if you see them, please. I'm not too far from you. I live between Duluth and St. Charles, so you can holler at us. We're going to get you down to see the giraffes. My privilege.
What a legacy. We'll be looking for those ivory bills.
Okay, I want to see the hot pink ones.
All right, hot pink.
Thank you.
Years. That's a lifetime.
Thank you, Director Booth. Let's go now to the staff presentations, and Education Interim Chief Eric Maynard and Communications Chief Keith Stevens will talk about the 24 conservation license plate.
Good morning, Chairman, Commissioners, Director. Yes, it's the time of the year we need to talk about the new conservation license plate. Just a little background information for you. The Department of Finance and Administration offers over 100 specialty license plates to Arkansas residents. These specialty plates are sold for $35 above the regular registration fee, with $25 of that going to the sponsoring agency and $10 going to the Department of Finance and Administration. Those conservation license plates, also known as the CLP funds, are authorized to be used for 3 purposes: sponsoring college scholarships for students studying in conservation-related fields, to which we average about 100 of those per semester, funding public land purchases, and providing conservation education programs, including things like education supplies and exhibits. The Conservation License Plate Program now generates about $1 million annually. I think that's a pretty good testament to their popularity. In 2000, the Commission issued its first specialty license plate, a white-tailed deer, and continues to do so each year with a new image. We've offered a variety of species of wildlife since that time, so there's something for almost everyone, and people tend to find one that they really like or love and stick with it. And to this day, I still see some of that, occasionally that original whitetail license plate going up and down the road. So people find it and they love it and stick with it. But today it's time to talk about the future and what's coming up next. And to do that, Keith Stevens is going to announce the new license plate for you this year.
This year, we're going to have a barred owl. I think probably some of you have already seen it. It was available in January, and I think Anne Marie already said that she's seen it on a vehicle, so it'll be as popular as the rest of them. Just a little background that Eric kind of led into. This is the 25th version that we've had of this. It was started in 2000. My predecessor, Nancy Ladbetter, and Senator Jay Bradford put this together in 1999 with Act 1566. It is $35 a plate, which we get $25. To date, we've raised almost $20.8 million with that plate. This year, for about the last 10 years, we've been doing these with our own artists. In the past, we contracted it out, but over the past 8 years, Greta James, who works in our communications division, has been the artist. And she would be here, but she's on the beach in Florida, so I had to let her do that. That sounded like a pretty good option. But anyway, Greta has done this for 8 years and does a great job. She's won 2 national awards last 2 years running, and I don't see why she wouldn't win it again coming up in the future. That's about it. You got any questions or anything?
JD.
Well, this barred owl is a very important figure in the world of turkey hunting, because we tend to do a hoot owl before every turkey hunt as you try to locate those gobblers. So in honor of the barred owl, oh, ho, ho, oh, ho, ho, oh.
Here they come. Thank you, appreciate it.
Keith, this couldn't be more appropriate because this is, I think, the second or third year of the Black Bear Bonanza in Northwest Arkansas, which includes an hoot owl calling competition. And I'm going up to judge it this year, and I would like to take that poster with me
Yes.
to show that that's available.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you, Eric and Keith. At this time, Director Booth will give the director's report.
All right, I will be very brief.
You want to give us your hoot owl call?
You got to put me on the spot. All right. Since becoming the director, I've had many jobs in this job, and one of them is getting to know the writings and works of a gentleman by the name of Aldo Leopold. And many of you have known him and known him well for years, and it has been exciting and relaxing, rewarding, many things, reading more and more of his writing. And as I've continued to marvel in his work, I've continued at the same time to continue to marvel more and more at the work that this agency does, much of which we just celebrated as we celebrated over 365 years of experience with people in this agency. But Aldo Leopold gave us quotes like, there are some who can live without wild things and some who cannot. He said, the landscape of any farm is the owner's portrait of himself. He said that conservation is a state of harmony between man and land. And my favorite so far, he said, many of the attributes most distinctive of America and Americans are the impress of the wilderness. Shall we now exterminate this thing that made us Americans? As I've wrestled with the succinct but sweeping nature of some of his quotes, writings, and work, I have also wrestled with the sweeping nature of the mission of the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission. And the sweeping nature of the mission of conservation has more often than not led me to a place of irrevocable gratitude for our conservation partners. To be clear, that this tradition of partnership is not only one of the many things that sets us apart from other states and their ability to do conservation in their own states, but it's also directly connected to the love for all things wild that we as Arkansans hold near and dear to our hearts as Arkansans, the people that call the natural state home. of people that feel like we are defined by the health of our natural resources in Arkansas. It's part of our shared identity that partnership comes naturally to us, because we naturally just have an inclination to stand arm in arm with people that care as much about our natural resources as we do. And we can look at this audience alone and see the audience that we had yesterday and understand that that is true. Our most important partner is, of course, the Arkansas Game and Fish Foundation. Deke's here along with Tyler and his son this morning. We have, where's Corey at? We have Corey Dunn representing Ducks Unlimited, who we stand arm in arm with to not only focus on the duck hunter now, but the habitat and the opportunity for the future. We have Catherine from Outdoor Rec here that is helping the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission and all of Arkansas government focus on not just what outdoor recreation looks like at the cash register, but also what it looks like for constituents of all different walks of life as Arkansas continues to thrive. We have representatives here from the Forestry Commission. We heard presentations yesterday from Quail Forever about how we are starting to write new chapters in the success of ground nesting bird and private landowners. We've had representatives here from Trout Unlimited, from educators in Batesville, North Little Rock. They mentioned Freddie Parker from Mountain Home. Every single corner of what we do takes partnership. It's one of the things that makes this agency successful, but the reason for it is this, is that the flame of conservation is what drives conservation forward. It lives first in the hearts of people before it does expertise or degrees or anything like that. And so as we look at Natural State tomorrow and our conservation challenges ahead, I remain more confident than ever that the flame of conservation burns brightly within all of us, because the best part about conservation and the most important thing for it to thrive are people. I'm confident in not only this agency, but the quality of the partners we have, and I will see you in the field.
Thank you, Director Booth. At this time, let's go to the committee reports. Committee chairs will deliver reports from Wednesday's committee meetings. First up is Commissioner Evans White, Chair of the Research Committee.
Thank you, Chairman Jones. Yesterday, the Research Review Committee met, and we had one discussion item. Dr. Mike Chamberlain from the University of Georgia in Athens provided an update on the population impact of chronic wasting disease on white-tailed deer in Arkansas. It's a study currently being conducted in Newton and Searcy counties. This 5-year study is in its 4th year of collecting data. We had no action items, no new business, and no old business.
Thank you, Commissioner Evans White. Next, let's go to Commissioner Finley, Chair of Property Management Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We had one discussion item. Terry Cheek and Dr. Vic DeScenzo provided an update on the marine fuel tax program. This program provides funding to support boating access as well as some walk-in access to fishing opportunities and projects across the state using fuel tax from the Arkansas Department of Transportation. We had one action item. Ben Batten requested approval to acquire a building from the City of Mountain Home to provide office space for the area staff. Having an owner interest in the building that the AGFC will be vacating, I recused myself and removed myself from the room while this was taking place. I understand through Commissioner Tappan that the committee gave a unanimous do pass. There was no new business, no old business, and we were adjourned.
Thank you, Commissioner Neely. Rob, sorry about that. Neely is next.
JD and I, we look a lot alike.
Yeah,
We get
I know.
confused
I
all
was
the time.
looking and seeing
Don't worry
Neely
about
here
that.
and called you Commissioner Neely. Vice Chairman Neely, Chair of the Budget Committee.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Budget Committee met yesterday. Our first discussion item, Emily Shumate presented us a very good financial status report. Very pleased with that. We had one action item. Spencer Griffith proposed a minute order authorizing Director Booth to enter into an agreement with Southern Arkansas University to expand the range opportunities. That's down there at Magnolia. I believe we'll add 2 more shooting ranges and some archery stuff. So as y'all remember, we met down there well over a year ago, got to tour that. It's exciting to see the progress being made there. We had no new business, no old business, and we were adjourned.
Thank you, Vice Chair Neely. Next, we go to Commissioner Doremus, Chair of the Regulations Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good morning, everybody. The Regulations Committee met yesterday and had a very busy agenda. We used every bit of the 5 hours that we were meeting yesterday and had wonderful presentations and very productive conversations in regards to our regulations and their first reading. So we had 4 discussion items. Lauren Weston and Jessica Phelps updated the commission on the new strategies for the Regulations Public Input Survey and the marketing strategy for accomplishing outreach. Next, we had Quail Forever State Coordinator Ryan Parker give an update on Habitat, Strike Team, and Prescribed Burn Association accomplishments in the state. Jeff Quinn and Katie Morris presented on Arkansas's incredible aquatic diversity and brought in some live specimens for commissioners to view. It's always fun when we get to do show and tell during our meetings. So really, really great presentation. And then finally, Jeff Newman presented on the South Arkansas Walleye Culture Project. As far as action items, we had 2 action items yesterday. First, Tommy Laird presented the first reading of fisheries regulation proposals. The committee gave the item a unanimous due pass to add to Thursday's agenda. And then Luke Naylor presented the first reading of wildlife regulations proposals, which also received a unanimous due pass to make it on to Thursday's agenda. There was no new business, no old business, and we were adjourned.
Thank you, Commissioner Doremus. Now for the business items being brought forth to the commission. Item 7A is the first reading of the fisheries regulation proposals. Fishery Chief Tom Laird, you have the floor.
First and foremost, I'd be remiss to say this is one of the best commission meetings I've ever been to in my career, probably top 5. With the stories and awards today, Brad, you're a rock star. Clint Coleman, early in my career, I started as a part-timer. Clint took me under his wing, and we have benefited more from his career. He's given us more than we've given him. Moving on, yesterday, the Fisheries Division brought before y'all 35 fishing regulation proposals. It's broken up into 4 sections. There was 8 general fishing proposals, 11 sport fish proposals, 2 invasive species proposals, 4 commercial fishing proposals, 6 non-sport fish proposals, and 4 directorate proposals. There were suggestions made at yesterday's meeting. Edits were made to the regulations by the staff. I would remind the commission that this is the first reading. No action is required at this time. And with that, I'll take any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Tom, you gave a great presentation yesterday, and we enjoyed it. This is the first reading, so no action is required. Are there any other questions? Did a great job yesterday, Tom.
Thank you.
Next, let's go to 7B, the first reading of wildlife regulations proposal. Chief Luke Naylor, you have the floor.
There goes that phone. Morning, Chairman, Director, Commissioners. Scotty, if you'd cue that up quick, please. I'm going to go ahead and, for the public record, quickly just highlight the items that the public can expect to see as the public input survey goes out here in the next 24 or 36 hours, I think, Corey. So I'm just going to hit these high points real quick and then mention a couple others that came up during conversation yesterday, just for clarity for the record. We have the straight wall cartridges in deer zones 4 and 5 for modern gun deer season. That is in the backup. It's in the red line code considerations for now. And we're also, after yesterday's conversation, going to put out for public comment just to gather information about the public's opinion of the use of straight walled cartridges during muzzleloader seasons statewide. That's the public input gathering process for that item. The others here, a 3-day velvet buck archery hunt, which would be around the first weekend of September.
and some changes to limit non-resident deer dog hunters to the last 9 days of modern gun deer season with 1 buck bag. Some modifications to elk hunts to kind of check harvest a little bit and bring us back in line to stabilize that population. Increase archery bear quota, prohibit harvesting bears with radio collars, just to increase our bear harvest up in northwest Arkansas. Create a no-cost non-resident turkey tag permit, no-cost resident turkey tag to just track participation in turkey hunting in the state, and modify the non-resident turkey license fee. We workshopped that after our conversations a little bit yesterday, and so what you'll see in the backup there is simply a non-resident turkey permit that allows a bag limit of 1 bird for the full season for a price of $325. So that's as it stands right now. That's after our conversation yesterday. Duck season dates. Pull up the cheaters on this. We had just a couple minutes of conversation about that. So it's always good. I appreciate the lively dialogue about duck season. Always do. Option 1, I'll read in here, and someone can nod at me or throw something at me if you hear it wrong. Option 1 is November 23rd through December 1st, December 5th through 24th, December 27th through January 26th, youth hunt February 1st and 2nd, veteran hunt February 2nd. Option 2, November 23rd through December 2nd, December 10th through December 23rd, December 27th through January 31st, youth hunt December 7th and February 8th, or February 8th and 9th, veteran hunt February 8th or 9th. We'll have a proposal for, we'll ask a question to the public about which white-fronted goose, snow and Ross's goose, Canada goose, regular goose seasons they would prefer, be it a 74-day season with 14 days starting the last Saturday in October and running consecutively, in addition to 60 days aligned with duck season. That is the season similar to what we just came out of this past in 23-24. The other option for the public to provide feedback on will be a 60-day season that is aligned with duck season. All right, got that part. That match up with what everybody else heard. Perfect. Just wanted it in the record, so we got it all right. So changing non-resident duck hunter access on WMAs by 10 3-day permits throughout the season. Clarified to offer some compatible public use in the afternoons on designated water trails using non-motorized boats, paddling. 25 shell restriction across all common restriction A WMAs. I don't think I said this yesterday. This common restriction A terminology is kind of interesting, but it's essentially most of our most popular waterfowl hunting areas are included in that code. Egyptian geese, I mentioned that yesterday. Get ready, northwest Arkansas, if you want to try to take an Egyptian goose next year. Provide some additional hunting opportunities throughout our WMA complex system. These are some permit hunts, public youth hunts, adult hunts, combination. Additional hunting opportunities on Frog Bayou as we expand there, and bringing Petty Jean in line with some Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday hunting that we had in the River Valley. Which brings up, I didn't highlight yesterday, but I know some of y'all would be interested, is some, Clint Johnson, our quail program coordinator, has proposed some modifications to quail season structures on WMAs in response to our habitat work, and some indices of quail abundance on those WMAs that has risen above a level where we think quail hunting can be offered at least maybe in some cases a greater level than it's been, and in some cases opening it up on those areas. So I'll make sure that gets it's in the proposal summary backup, but I just want to call attention to it that I didn't do yesterday. There'll be a few permit quail hunts on WMAs, for example, which is I think brand new for us. I don't remember doing that at least recently. Have a turkey permit hunt on Mud Creek WMA, and then let folks fish on Cargill in the afternoon legally. And some modifications are captive wildlife permits to catch us up with inflation over the past 6 or 7 years. Leave that it. So I've got mentioned duck season, goose season, non-resident turkeys. There's another one that is in the backup that we think will call out in the public input survey. It's about folks using dogs to hunt, requiring a remote tracking collar while hunting. So that'll be on this public survey. That's in the summary, but I didn't call it out yesterday either. That'll be on the public input survey. And then the other one that is asked as an information gathering question after yesterday's conversation was to ask about a future prohibition on surface drive motors on WMAs. That's put out not as a proposal right now, but an information gathering item. That's all I have.
Thank you, Luke. This is the first reading, so no action is required. Are there any questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next, let's go to item 7C, Southern Arkansas University Agreement. Deputy Director Spencer Griffin, you have the floor.
Yes, Commissioners, Director, thank you for having me. Seeking approval this morning on a minute order for Southern Arkansas University to allow Director Booth to enter into an agreement for us to grant dollars for 2 ranges as well as 2 archery areas, and hopefully hope for a good vote.
This item requires approval from the Budget Committee. Commissioner Neely, was this approved in the Budget Committee?
Received, do pass.
I have a motion to approve the request. No second is necessary. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Motion is approved. Thanks, Spencer. Next is item 7D, Mountain Home Office Acquisition. Deputy Director Ben Batten, you have the floor.
Good morning, Chairman, Director, Commissioners, and a pretty full house. I'll have to echo Tommy's comments. It was really nice this morning to see so many folks come out, so thank you. Yesterday, I had the good fortune to present an update to the Property Management Committee on our search for a long-term home for employees in the Mountain Home area, and I'm very happy to report that we found a building that we believe checks the boxes for our needs. I have been in discussion with the mayor of Mountain Home about the possibility of purchasing the current Mountain Home Police Department building at 424 West 7th Street in Mountain Home, about a half a mile west of where we're at today. There's a minute order along with a draft purchase agreement in your backup, which would give the director permission to enter into a contract to purchase this building for a price not to exceed $1,118,000. We're requesting an additional $5,000 in budget to fund the due diligence necessary to make the purchase, as well as the closing costs. So should this be passed, we're hoping to close by the end of April. Again, very excited to have found a home in this part of the state. Happy to answer any questions you have.
Thank you, Ben. This item requires the approval of Property Management. Commissioner Tappan, was this approved in Property Management Committee?
Chairman Jones, yes. In the absence of Commissioner Finley, the item will receive unanimous approval.
I have a motion to approve the request. No second is necessary. All in favor say aye. Aye. This motion is approved. Thanks, Ben. Getting close to just about being finished. Do we have any new business we need to discuss? Do we have any old business? Is there a motion or any need for executive session?
No, Mr. Chairman, there is no need for an executive session.
Okay, great. That means everything's going pretty good then, don't it? Hey, before we usually close out the meetings, we usually give the commissioners a chance to make a comment or say something, and I want to extend this at this time. Commissioner Evans-White? Are you turned on?
Oh, now I am.
Now you are.
I wanted to thank my Valentine, my husband, Tony, who stayed at home to hold down the home front, give our daughter hugs on Valentine's Day for me, and take her to school and all that good stuff. And all the spouses here or at home that help keep us commissioners going, and also are very sharp people and offer us lots of good advice as well. So, thank you.
Bill, you're next, but I've got written here that Bill also calls hoot owls, and we want to hear your hoot owl call.
You know,
Go ahead and turn your microphone on there, Bill.
Now, and if you don't, I'm going to tell you about a crawdad.
you're gonna do what?
I'll tell you if you don't do this hoodoo call that I've heard you do, I'm gonna tell you the story about a crawdad, how they back up.
Come on.
You know, I can't show up the director. I mean, I'd be glad to show up JD. But I can't show up director because that would not be good.
I think JD's in the lead. Sorry, Austin.
I think he's in the lead. I think he's so far out there we can't get it. One thing it does do, it gets me very excited about, turkey season coming up. But hope everybody had a great duck season. Just want to shout out to all their service awards. Absolutely fantastic. I mean, 35, 40 years. I mean, absolutely unbelievable. I mean, the dedication there is just absolutely fantastic. So, I'd be amiss not to talk about Dave Donaldson. And last Saturday, at our meeting there, we, I think, did an amazing job as Game and Fish. Our director did an amazing job and really brought that whole community together. So I was very proud of everything we did and have not been prouder. So great job.
Rob?
Yeah, I don't do hoodows, just for the record. I can do a trout call, though, if you want me to. It's very quiet, sonar-like. You probably wouldn't hear it, but I'll do that for you someday. No, I echo Commissioner Jones's comments of Dave Donaldson. It's a great opportunity to show service and transparency when these things come up, and I think this commission and this staff does a fantastic job of recognizing the need for that, and I think the public continues to see that, and it builds confidence in the relationship. And that goes to the commended leadership here, and I appreciate that. It makes our job a little easier. A couple of things for those. I mean, there's a couple of regs coming out in this survey that impact our trout streams, our trouting industry. So important, since that's a large industry in the state, for folks to look at that. I want to drive them to the survey. Please put your comments in there. Again, stole my thunder a little bit, but Freddie Pinka, our coach up at Mountain Home, who's done such a great job with our outdoor program, getting named Outdoor Adventure Teacher of the Year. He was so proud of that, and should be for his accomplishment. But he was just as proud of his students who helped him get there and recognize that. Which leads me into Mountain Home was the governor was kind enough to select Mountain Home as a capital for the day this month. Had a great time having our governor and staff, the cabinet, up to Mountain Home, and what was real fun about that is they took a real interest in the Game and Fish and our projects. And Coach Pinkett brought his class out to fish dry run with the governor. Just such great recognition for all that's being done up there in the education sector and all that we have going on in the north central part of the state. So good stuff, and we'll continue on with it. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's go down, get you last. Let's go down to Brandon. Commissioner Adams.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to thank the community that came out in Northeast Arkansas and their passion that they showed and their willingness to work with us. And I think we went a long way Saturday to building a coalition that I think that's going to make this project successful in the long term. And so was really impressed with their passion and their commitment. So I'm looking forward to working with those people. Also, I'd like to encourage everyone to take the survey, because that information is important to us, and we need that feedback in order to make the decisions to make everybody happy and do the things we can to be more successful as a commission. So, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Taplin.
Well, I'm like Commissioner Finley. I don't do hoodowls in public either, but, to pay respect to my lifelong occupation of being in the food business, if you're wanting to practice, it's the old, who cooks for you all? Look at their turkey hunters out there. No, that's the way to practice, to just really drag out that you all. Hey, thank you, Director, for quoting Leopold and how informative he was to our conservation efforts in his Sands County Almanac. He talks about Arkansas was the first state to enact legislation against market hunting. It's in the book,
And can you imagine how unpopular that was? Can you imagine the pushback and the revolt that some market hunters and large groups fought that legislation? You know, we probably feel the same way, but it's taken the right direction and not always the most popular. He also talked about a hunting exhibition in that Sand County Almanac on the Current River, starting in Van Buren, Missouri, and camping on the outskirts of the river and going into the woods and coming on down to Arkansas. I wonder what he would think about as he just meandered a little further into the Black River regime of today and saw our timber, and what he would say the decision is. It's probably not to make what's the most popular decision, but the one that needs to be made. I admire so much, and I want to thank all the staff, as Commissioner Adams, Commissioner Jones pointed out. These meetings that we held in Pocahontas and Jonesboro were incredible from the locals, but our staff, think about how many of these associates are exempt employees and took their full Saturday to be in Jonesboro or to be in Pocahontas and just represented us wonderfully. I want to thank you all and how well that was organized, and Director, how well you presented. But let's just continue on the course of doing the right thing, not the most popular. And finally, you know, the paradox of it all was, you know how you've had just been banged all day long, and then you get in the car and start driving and hear a nice subtle rain shower starts coming down from, as we're headed to Central Arkansas. Chairman, I thought of you. I got to the intersection of Highway 67 and 226 to get back on the freeway, and JD had commented about this the day before. You looked out in those flooded agricultural fields and the tremendous amount of waterfowl that was feeding. I saw more pintails, bull sprigs up, you know, in that middle of that rain shower, and I thought about our partnership with agriculture. You know, it's not recognized enough, the number of farmers that continue to hold water on their fields to support that migratory flight. You could really see it in effect. And again, there are a lot of people in this whole community supporting our industry and our environment that don't get enough credit for it, and we appreciate them all. Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Doremus.
First off, well said all around. Second, each and every one of you. All really good points today. And Bobby, it hasn't just been a red letter day, it's been a red letter week. Everything has just been fantastic. Now, I have been so excited about sharing this ever since I saw it on January 18th when Randy Zellers wrote about this. And that is about Miss Charlene Parton of Mariana, who is 90 years old and has achieved getting 20 Triple Trophy awards. The most, I mean, I hope to get one in my entire life, but she has done 20, 2 decades. In fact, she went on a streak where she got it 9 years in a row up until, I believe it was 2018. So this is my new hero. She is in the Anne Marie Doremus Hall of Fame. Deke, I think that she deserves to be in your Hall of Fame. I mean, just absolutely amazing. And I wanted to share that with everybody just because it got me all excited, and what an inspiration for the future. So thank you, Mr. Chairman, for a really, really great week, and thank you to our staff for all you do.
Thank you, Commissioner. Vice Chairman J.D. Neely.
Well, I think a lot of great points have been made. It has been a red letter last several days. Started Saturday, and again to the staff and director, could not have been prouder. Just shows the commitment that this agency has to commitment to the resource, but also commitment to our public and working hand in hand with our hunters. The public survey, again, we've got regs come around every 2 years, and here's another opportunity for our public to give good input. I was on the phone yesterday with a gentleman that called about the muzzleload season, and I told him, look, we're going to have a survey out probably in the next 48 hours. Just get on there, and we'll be happy to take your input, and let him know that we look at all of the survey respondents and take note of those. Yesterday, too, Mr. Chairman, we had a great update from Dr. Chamberlain on the CWD. I could not be more proud of where we have come in our knowledge in getting good data. We continue to gather that. That project now is getting down to about the last year, but we got a good update from Dr. Chamberlain. So again, proud for the work that our research division, Corey, Dr. Ballard, everybody are doing on that, and look forward to seeing that. As we heard yesterday, not only for us, but we are going to see other states, other U.S. Fish and Wildlife, different groups that will look at that to help them deal with CWD that's popping up, unfortunately, in a lot of places. And lastly, Stan, I just got to bring up something that I noticed when I got in and parked today. I had to park up front, and Jan parked up there beside me, and I was in the field staff side, and right beside that, there's 2 spots that say expecting mothers. So I just didn't know if there's something that we didn't know. Jan got out, and she even had baby clothes in the back of the car. So anyway, I just close with that, and you might want to enlighten us.
Boy, make your face turn red.
Rarely is Stan speechless.
I know. I tell you, I think that's maybe a conversation for me and you and Jan. Maybe we'll talk about that after the meeting. Director.
Y'all take a survey, that's all I got.
Hey, we're about finished with this, but let me say a couple of things. Just go back. Everybody touched on it with Director Booth at the meeting. I tell you, you could not have done a better job, Austin. It's not easy to be out there in front of everybody and you getting these arrows thrown at you, and the questions that were asked, but they were good questions. These were people that were passionate about their area, what they've had for 50, 60 years. They're very passionate about it, and I thought they were very good questions that they asked. They were informative questions, and I'm glad that it turned out the way it did. Everything went well. I think here at the agency, just the passion. You know, I look out here and without calling names, a lot of faces love the passion that you have. You know, you at the end of the day, you don't just do this for the money. It's way more than the money, way more. And Ms. Robinson, again, back to you. I mean, you know, we need more people that's like this. This makes our world a better place to live, and we can all be a part of it. And Bobby and Mr. Sproles, thank y'all for being here today. Hopefully you'll come back again, not be gone so long. It's been a little while. I thought you'd be back before now, Bobby.
It's been duck season.
Yeah. And, you know, we made it through duck season. I would just say with all the people that I have at my lodge, Mississippi was pretty thin, Louisiana was pretty thin, Texas was real thin. We were down in Arkansas a little bit. We were down a little bit in numbers, but it's not always just based on numbers. There's other things, and this year with the weather up north, no ice, very little rain, no freezing, no snow. There was not much of a reason for ducks to come down. But after the cold weather hit, after some movement, some storms come across, and I've got a lot of ducks right now. I mean, a lot of ducks. Jan, how many did you think was down there the other day when we went and took that picture? Tens and tens of thousands. So we've got a lot of ducks right now, and it's beautiful to go out there and watch them do that. Hey, thank y'all for coming. Enjoyed the meeting today, and with that, we'll be adjourned.